Hi there, Roger Burnley here. I have another video for you. Now in this one, again, I'm dealing with my favorite issues, releasing the swallowing muscles. But the good thing about this particular exercise is that it can be a lifesaver for you. If you're going to perform and I've had this situation so many times where, I don't have really enough time to warm up and I haven't done my full warm-ups. I typically like to do about 15-20 minutes of warm-up before I'm ever going to sing or perform or record, right? But if you end up in a situation where that is not possible, this would be the best thing that you could possibly do to get you in a place to feel a little more open. It's, again, developing a kind of habit where you're not pushing up to get any notes. You're developing this coordination where you're thinking that as you start a note, you're always coming down into it. You're hearing the notes go up, but you're thinking this way. Then the other thing, the really important thing with this exercise is to make sure that your swallowing muscles are not engaged, where they're not coming down, okay? Now, to get the most out of this exercise, it is going to be incredibly ugly. Do not try to make this sound good. That's not the point of it. It's going to be very, very ugly. So what you're going to do is place your thumbs underneath your jaw so you can feel, so you're in touch with where those swallowing muscles are. Again, you're not pushing in on them. It's just so you can feel, so you can become aware of what's happening internally in your body. All right. So then what you're going to do is you're going to think every time you start, and this is the idea that I always want you to start to develop as well, to get you in the habit that when you're starting a tone, that you're starting it very clean, meaning you're not scooping back in your throat. That's one thing. And you're going to always try to hear it where you're starting, where it's in your forehead, not in the nasal area. When it's there, you're obviously blocking off something and causing other problems. So that's what's happening. So we're talking about starting in your forehead, thinking you're coming down and not feeling those swallowing muscles coming down or fighting you. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate it and I'll throw in a few other things as we go along, okay? Okay, now you'll notice something else that I'm doing. I'm making this really weird face. And you may need to do that in the beginning. That's kind of smiling. I use this a lot. Because then you can really feel where you're starting up here, where you're not back in your throat. I'm using that, as I talked about in other videos, this kind of sound, this what I call this edgy, squeaky kind of sound. Because that will have the tendency to keep your larynx more in place. You're not going to very easily, at least, fall back in your throat and start using these muscles. So I'm going to go back, do it again, so you can kind of hear that I'm doing that. Okay, now I'm going to add something else to it. Now, there are variations that you can do on this. You'll hear that I'm keeping the sound very connected as I'm going through. And I like for you to be able to get that as well. Then later on, you can start doing what the exercise is doing, which is this real staccato thing, because then you'll start to feel where, wow, you're really letting go and you're developing this particular kind of flexibility in what you're able to do with your voice. So now I'm going to do a little bit of it that way. But again, that one, you get to that one later. Try to do it first where you're keeping the sound connected, because then you'll really be in touch with it. That one, doing it with the staccato is a little more challenging because if you've had the habit of having what I call holding on to your sound too much, you'll have a little trouble getting that one in the beginning. So do the other one first, and I'm going to go back and do it again. I'm going to play and take it a little bit higher. As you go higher with it, you have to go back to thinking again that you're just allowing the chords to get really thin. Let me go back to that. Really exaggerate so you can start up here. Each time it's a little higher. Then you're letting go of the higher notes. Still feeling. Just letting go of those notes. Play for you. As you go higher, use a little less sound. Don't force it. Really thin, really easy. Great. Now, as you're going through this, as you do this exercise, what you're going to start to notice, and this is a good thing, when you're done, and then you go back to like just talking even. This is what I've always talked about. The way that you speak and sing are going to be so connected. And so you're going to start to notice as you start changing your technique or getting your voice into a much better place, even your speaking voice is going to stay in a little different place. And what you will typically experience after doing this exercise is that you're going to experience your voice being what I call more in the mask up here. You're going to hear it. It's going to be, when it's there, you are projecting because you're not blocking off any of your sound. So if you're speaking, if you have to get up and give a speech to someone and you're talking from that place, your projection is going to be so much more clear. And the other thing is that you're not going to wear your voice out. I get a lot of clients who, will do concerts and they're touring or whatever, and a lot of times it's very loud and they have to like talk and yell over the audience. If you start to develop this ability to hear where your projection is sitting more in that mask, more in that place, you're going to end up saving your voice. So work with that one. And again, like I said, this is a great one to do before performance, along with the other exercises, but it's great to actually end up with this one as your last one, and you'll feel a whole different sense of freedom after doing it. Alrighty, I'll see you soon.